So you've done your thing, learning your main, you've got combos down pat, you know a little bit about punishment, you know your frame data to a certain extent, at least with your main character. What's next in the repertoire? What do you need to know to play Tekken well? Sidestepping. Right away, right off the bat. You know how to get up off the ground, button buffering you're informed on now. Let's learn some sidestepping shit. Sidestepping in this game is so freaking crucial. You need to be able to learn exactly how to sidestep and how to sidewalk, because sidewalking and sidestepping do similar things, but they're not the same thing, and one is better than the other in different scenarios, right? A sidestep may be better than a sidewalk, which is this. A simple sidestep like that may be all you need to evade a specific move, whatever that move may be, right? Some extremely linear moves are just available with a sidestep. Some linear moves require sidewalking because they have a little more tracking to them, and sidewalking increases the range and the trajectory of which you step initially. If you're wanting to sidestep into the background, you're going to tap up and then hold it. Right after you've tapped it, tap it, and then press it again and then hold it. So up and then hold it. Okay? So it'll be up, up, and the second up you're going to press is going to be held. The next one is into the foreground. Sidestepping into the foreground is done by tapping down and then holding it by pressing it the second time. So tap down, down, and hold the second tap. And that's a sidewalk into the foreground. Now, you might hear things like sidestep left and sidestep right. How do we know which direction that happens to be? I mean, you know, in layman's terms, all you do is you walk to your character's left or to their right. So this is Kazuya's left side, and this is Kazuya's right side. Obviously, just look at his limbs. If his left arm is to his left, then sidestep to his left. That's Kazuya's sidestep left. This is Kazuya's sidestep right. This is sidewalk right. This is sidewalk left. This is sidestep left. There you go. Oh, that's a little bit easier to understand now. Sometimes you see the notations as SSL. That means sidestep left. SSR means sidestep right. SWL means sidewalk left. SWR means sidewalk right. So, very simple notations. I think I already went over those in the notation video, but if not, feel free to check that video out. I highly recommend it if you're just learning Tekken and you don't quite know the notations yet. Honestly, you shouldn't even really be watching this video quite yet if you're still learning the very, very basics of Tekken, because in this video, things are going to get a little more advanced, so heads up. So how do you time sidesteps in this game? Can you just do this shit all day and just evade moves? No, you can't. So I'm going to set Kazuya to do this shit. He's going to do a jab into a hell sweep, and I'm going to try and evade it by doing a sidestep. You look at that hell sweep and you think to yourself, well, this shit, he's doing a full spin. He must be able to, like, get you in, you know, no matter which way you sidestep, because he's spinning around, so he's covering all his bases. No, it's not actually true. It's not how the game works. Hell sweep is very susceptible to sidestep left. You can dodge this move completely by sidestepping slightly to your left, or sidewalking, that is. If you do a sidestep, then you'll have to sidestep block, so you can block the gut punch. So you want to sidewalk this move to your left. And then you get Kazuya's back, and then you do your most damaging guaranteed damage string, and get some damage for it. But how did I do that? How did I time that sidestep? Well, since Kazuya was doing an attack in accordance to where my Kazuya was standing initially, that's where he's going to align with. If your opponent does an attack while your character is standing somewhere, just doesn't matter where it is, my Kazuya is standing right where he is, so if the other Kazuya does an attack right now, he will align his attack with where Kazuya is currently standing, right? Kazuya wants to do jab into hell sweep like you saw there. I'm still standing in that exact position that he did when he threw the jab out. I haven't stepped yet. So the hell sweep is going to align with where my Kazuya is initially standing. Now, the thing about sidestep and why the timing is so crucial for that is essentially a sidestep will dodge a linear attack as long as you've timed the sidestep so appropriately to where your opponent has thrown out an attack and that attack is aligned with where your character was pre-sidestep input. So for example, I'm going to do hell sweep again. And the Hell Sweep, you'll notice, is lined up with the Kazuya that I'm using right now. It's obviously going in the direction of the character that I'm using, Kazuya. So, now if I try to sidestep that move, not duck it, but sidestep the damn thing, you can see that it wasn't aligned with, as soon as I started sidestepping, I sidestepped the jab as well. I anticipated the sidestep a bit too early there, but yeah, as long as you're able to, you can tell that sidestepping is quite lenient this way too, because as long as you're able to time it reasonably well, if you delay the sidestep timing like you saw there, you'll still get clipped. So you still need to time the sidestep pretty good. See, I delayed it a little bit too long there too. I got clipped again. You have to time the sidestep reasonably well. You have to know exactly what they're going to do without actually knowing what they're going to do. There's a thing called defensive sidestepping, which is what I'm talking about right now. And then there's also aggressive sidestepping. That's the one you'll see most commonly used in actual play online up until you hit about blue gold ranks. Even maybe high purples, a lot of people start implementing sidestep quite often. And they time it quite correctly most of the time. But it's also used for aggressive purposes, and this is what you'll mostly see in like red to low purple ranks, is aggressive sidesteps. They're trying to implement the sidestep into their attacks, into their gameplay and game plan, but they don't quite know the ins and outs of how sidestepping works yet, so they only know how to do it into an aggressive type momentum building situation, right? So if I'm Kazuya, and I'm wave dashing in, I'm going to do a sidestep into an electric, right? So if I do that, I pre-anticipated the down forward 2 there, I pre-anticipated the electric there, I'm doing an attack right after I sidestep, no matter what my opponent is going to do. That's called an aggressive sidestep. You may have evaded something that they did and then punished with whatever it was that you wanted to, that you used after the sidestep, but you still did it preemptively without even realizing they were going to attack. You're just literally doing this into this. That's what you're going to do no matter what. That's an aggressive sidestep, and those can be very, very useful, and they can also be tricky to implement. But a defensive sidestep is more like the things that I'm demonstrating right now. So let's just go down the line. Let's see what else we got. I can't remember the moves I put in for Kazuya, but I'm pretty sure most of them are linear as fuck. So, the other thing I have to mention about sidestepping that's super crucial to know is that some characters are sidestepped and sidewalked to your character's left side, and other characters are sidestepped or sidewalked by doing it to your character's right side. So sidestep left, sidestep right. It depends on the character you're facing in order to gather which sidestep to utilize against that character. So if I'm going against Kazuya, I'm going to always want to sidestep left and sidewalk left. That's because Kazuya has a lot of moves and properties that track to Kazuya's left, which is my right. In this scenario, I'm going to do a bunch of random moves with Kazuya, see what happens when I sidestep right or sidewalk right. Just observe the scenario and what's taking place. So he's going to do some moves, and I'm going to try to sidewalk and sidestep them to Kazuya, my Kazuya's right side, and just see how many moves actually clip me. So I dodge the Demon Paw, Devil Fist, yeah, okay, down by 4 hits. Hell Sweep certainly hit. Electric's going to hit. Forward 4 missed. Forward 4 3 missed. Forward 4 misses again. Let's just see what else we got. Yeah, Hell Sweep's going to hit me no matter what. The Devil Fist is doesn't track as good as you think. Devil Fist is actually quite linear. Hell Sweep will always track to Kazuya's left side. Always. Let's do an example of one that's quite solid for Kazuya. His Electric will track to both sides slightly. I am stepping right now, and it's clipping me every time. You have to do a perfect sidestep in order to dodge this, and never to your right, because it does track to that side. So you want to sidestep this to your left, and it still tracks a bit to the left, just a lot less. So if you stand a little further away, for example, he may clip you with this if you time it just wrong. I'm doing some pretty... Kazuya's got some great movement, I gotta say. In this game, Kazuya... There you go. So I sidewalked too early, and the electric clipped me because I wasn't pressing any buttons, so my hitbox wasn't expanded at all. Every time you press a button, no matter what, the hurtbox of your character expands like 3 or 4 times the amount that it normally is when you're not pressing any buttons, except for the directional buttons or your directional stick if you're doing if you're on a stick, your fighting stick. Like that's fine to press, but as soon as you start attacking, your hurtbox expands gargantuanly, and you pretty much eat every fucking thing your opponent throws at you. Everything that Kazuya has, essentially, is going to be beaten by sidewalk or sidestep left with a couple exceptions. So I'm going to say, I have a couple of things to say about these 2 options, but I'm going to just go through this list of 6 moves, and I think Kazuya's going to dodge all but one of them. I think down back forward tracks pretty good to both sides. But besides that, everything else is pretty beatable by sidestep left. So let's see what he's got. 6 moves I have selected, 6 of Kazuya's best moves that you will see Kazuya use at pretty much every level of play, and my Kazuya is going to dodge all of them by doing a sidestep or sidewalk left. So here we go. Devil Fist. Hell Sweep, we already know that's fucking linear as hell, right? Devil Fist again. Come on, give me something else. 4-4-3, dodge the shit out of that. Step too late on that one. So you do have to be very strict with your sidestep if you want to dodge consistently down back forward. See, it still clips me. It tracks a little bit to Kazuya's right. So does forward 4, just very, very little though, not much at all. So does electric though, again. Electric is fantastic because it tracks very much to Kazuya's left, and then quite a bit, a little tiny bit to Kazuya's right. Not much, but it's a great fucking move for that sense. It does track a little bit to both sides, more to his left than to his right. But these are the little nuances of attack properties that you need to figure out. Now, sometimes what you want to do is a sidestep into a block. Sidestep into block is almost the most important tool to do in a defensive fashion in Tekken, period. Sidestep block covers so much ground, it's absurd. You can beat almost everything with sidestep block. If you sidestep block and you know exactly which character you're playing against and which way you need to sidestep them or sidewalk them, if they just do something like a random jab or something, you can sidestep into a block, and as soon as they throw out that jab, you sidestep block. Oh, they threw out a jab, I get the free jab punish. You might not be able to get a launch punish because those are 15 frames or more. So, you know, it's a little bit longer to get that move out, which means that the character that threw out the jab that you just sidestepped and dodged might have enough time to recover from their jab before you're able to get your launcher to connect. So you want to just try to go for jab punish at that point. If they do a big move, then obviously you want to do a launch punish, right? So if they do something like, I don't know, something like that, like, see what they got here. In that sense, I always want to go for a launch punish because it's just better in every friggin' way, right? Launch punish in that sense is good when they whip a big ass move like 4-4-3. This is another reason that move is so friggin', it's great, but it's also extremely linear, like one single step, and I sidestep into block, I beat it no matter what. Even if he connects with me, as when I block it, sidestep right is less effective, so sidestep left this shit, and you'll always beat it. Like, there's no chance he's gonna hit me with this shit. Are you telling me that fucking Kazuya is not bottom tier? He's still just as fucking linear as ever, and sidestepping and movement in general, sidestepping especially, is way better in Tekken 8 than it was in Tekken 7. Everybody has fucking huge sidesteps now. Like, even Jack has a sidestep, and that's crazy to think that he has a sidestep because he didn't have one at all in Tekken 7, virtually. Well, you know, he had a sidestep, but he was so big, he had such a big hurtbox, that he couldn't really dodge shit. Not even a jab really could he dodge very often. It was terrible. Like, his sidestep was trash. But in this game, Jack's pretty consistent with his sidesteps. He's not Kazuya level good at movement. Kazuya's movement is pretty fucking awesome. But Jack, like, he's I don't know. His sidestep's pretty trash, but he's got one now. So sidesteps in general in this game are great. Use the shit out of them. Don't fucking If you don't know what you're doing yet, and you want to learn how to sidestep, then you're on the right track, my friend, because sidestepping will help you in more ways than you even know. But sometimes, like I said, sidestep block is the best option. In this scenario, Kazuya's going to do a move that is a string. So he's going to do one move and with down forward 1 or down forward 1 2. Down forward 1 2 is a mid-high. And the second hit in a string, like very many second hits and third hits in strings from all over the cast, tracks. And by that, I mean, wherever my Kazuya goes, that move is going to follow. So, and it doesn't track with the initial hit, it tracks only with the second hit. So, because it counts as a separate move, even though it's a string that's attached to the initial hit, it still counts as a separate move that realigns with your character, like I said, because Kazuya's thrown that move out as if he's positioning himself back to where your character is at the time that that move gets thrown out. That's just a property of strings in general. A lot of strings just have homing-like properties, tracking properties that go to both sides. So there are strings where you can literally dodge the whole one, like Hell Street, for example, down CD4-1 with Kazuya. You can dodge the kick and the punch with one single sidewalk, but not all strings have that capability. In this sense, I'm going to demonstrate a sidestep block, if I can time this right, and show you how valuable that shit is. So he's going to do this move. I'm going to try to sidestep it and then block. See, look at that. So I sidestepped the 1, and then I blocked the 2. I didn't sidestep in time there, so he clipped me, and he did it again. This is a really good move, by the way. If you don't sidestep this move right, then you're fucked. Now, remember it is a high, so you can duck this move. After you've blocked the first move, you can sidestep, block, and then duck. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually sidestepping into a block, but I know the move, I know what's coming out, so I sidestep into block, into duck. And when I do it correctly, this is what I get. And you see it says punish there, right? So if you do the appropriate response to specific moves in this game, you're going to beat them every time. Almost every move in this game has an answer to it besides block. There are actually moves in this game where all you can fucking do is block, for the most part. I'm going to demonstrate one coming up real quick. That's fucking annoying as hell to deal with, but it's a pretty amazing move for that reason if you use the character I'm about to talk about. But besides the handful of moves from a handful of characters in the game where they literally give you no option but to block, those are broken-ass moves that need to be fixed and probably will be addressed in the next patch. I'm sure Bandai Namco's working on it, but for now, those moves do exist. As for the 99% of other moves in the game from the myriad of other characters in the game, you can sidestep a lot of options that those characters have, and for the things you can't sidestep, there are other ways to beat those moves. So there's always an option, and sometimes the option isn't just to sidestep. Sometimes it's a combination of all the things that you know, like a sidestep into a block, into a duck, because I don't know what exactly he's gonna do. And I've trained my brain now to sidestep block no matter what, because this shit is fucking strong. Always sidestep block, and then see what your opponent's gonna do, because all it takes to block is one frame. As soon as your opponent does something, you're gonna visually confirm what they've done, and then at that point, either just take your jab punish, or if you think you can time it right, if it's a big move they just threw out, then go for a launch punish. If you're not using Kazuya or Deviljin, or well, even Deviljin has down 3+4. If you're not using Kazuya or Steve, you can pretty much launch punish everything from a sidestep. You know, Deviljin has down 3+4, Reina's got down forward 2, so even the other Mishimas have easy mode launchers that you can deal with, after a sidestep, after a successful sidestep block. I mean, you can still sidestep block electric with Kazuya, but that's a very advanced technique, where you really understand how difficult Kazuya is to use once you start utilizing that technique in a real match at high level. It gets fucking stupid crazy hard, but at the end of the day, once you've gotten yourself used to that type of mechanic, sidestep into punish, sidestep into launch punish more specifically, it just becomes more and more intuitive, and you're able to just do it more, because your muscle memory is so, oh, I've seen this setup before. I'm going to sidestep now, and then I'm going to go for a jab punish. Oh, I've seen this exact string before. I know that it's all susceptible to sidestep left or sidewalk left. And if I'm able to get into his back, then I'm able to get some massive damage off that, right? So, I don't know. I think, honestly, this is I wouldn't say it's the most important tool in the game to use as a sidestep. Blocking is more important than sidestepping, so make sure you hold the back button more than you attempt a random sidestep. Just keep these things in mind, and I would like to just go over one more thing with a sidestep duck and how to defeat certain bullshit moves with certain characters that have bullshit moves. So let's get into that now. Alright, so I have Azucena here with me because she has a crazy move in this game called While Running 3-2 that's fucking ridiculous to try to defend against. So we're gonna show what that move is right here. While Running 3-2, you can see what that is. It's friggin' +5 on block. Let's speed it up and see if she can do it more often, because I would appreciate it. It's +5 on block. It doesn't do anything to speed it up when I do that shit. And it does crazy damage. So what are the answers to this move? What can you do essentially to this move? The answer, my friend, is not blowing in the fucking wind, but what I actually is doing is standing right in your fucking face, even though it's not that obvious. I'm just kidding. It's not that obvious at all. In fact, it's one of the hardest ways to beat a move that you could possibly have in the game, but that just goes to show how stupid this fucking character is right now. So, Azucena with her While Running 3-2 is virtually unbeatable unless you do a very technical defense against this move, which also requires a sidestep to your character's left. So let's try this. So you're going to sidestep and then immediately duck. And it's going to beat out the While Running 2-3, or While Running 3-2. But if I try to duck, obviously the mid is going to kill me. I have to sidestep into the duck. And I can do it after I just got hit with the jab. I can do it anytime I want. If they're far away from me, I can do it, no problem. If they're up close in my face, I can still do it. I don't even need to sidewalk, just a simple sidestep. But honestly, when Azucena is beyond, is like this range away from you, you know, if we're standing at like range 3.5 to 4, you guarantee that Azucena is going to come at you with a While Running 3-2. So get that sidestep and duck locked in. Sidestep this shit, duck it, and then whatever your while standing punishes, you have time for it. Every character can while standing punish her, even Steve, who has the slowest while standing punish in the game with at 18 frames. So everybody can launch punish Azucena after a sidestep duck. But the problem is, this fucking move is so oppressive, good luck trying to do a sidestep duck when she's doing shit like this. So watch, what I'm going to do here is demonstrate what a homing move is. Homing moves are unsidesteppable. You cannot sidestep them, and they're represented by having those green slashy marks, those whirly green marks, you know, where it says hi, where her fist is. That's representation of a homing move. These homing moves are super, super valuable moves that cannot be sidestepped. They will kill you if you try to sidestep. They track to 180 degrees both sides. Homing moves are incredibly valuable moves for a character to have. Azucena's, the one I just showed there, is her back 2. It's a high homing move, so obviously you can do things like this, and then go for a punish of your choosing. But when it comes to sidestep into duck, if I don't know what she's going to do, I'm going to try to sidestep something. But of course, if I try to sidestep thinking she's going to do a While Running 3-2, and she does a homing move, you know, that's why While Running 3-2 is so oppressive. Very, very important to know little details like that. Now I'm going to go over one more thing. Let's go over the characters and which way we're supposed to sidestep them, which way the game wants you to sidestep them. Let's see what we got. Alright, cool. So we got characters here. Sidestep to your character's left. So the following characters are just a list of characters where you have to sidestep left to or sidewalk left to beat them. So we've got Alyssa. There's an asterisk here, here to, you know, to show you that she's got a little extra information that needs to be learned down the line. So I'll explain that in a bit. But Alyssa, mostly to your left, with a few exceptions that we'll talk about in a sec. Claudio is pretty foolproof if you just sidestep or sidewalk things to your left. Depending on what moves he's doing, you'll have to either learn whether their sidesteps is enough, or sidewalking is what's required to beat the move. So you'll have to just go through the move lists of certain characters you have problems with, and figure out the shit you got to deal with there. Devil Jin, because he's a Mishima. Basically, if you're a Mishima character, then if you're facing a Mishima character, then you are going to be sidestepping and sidewalking to your character's left no matter what, because that's just the side that Mishimas are susceptible to sidestep on. So, anytime you see a Mishima, sidestep left. We'll always beat a lot of the shit that they have. Devil Jin has some exceptions, though. So I have given an asterisk to him. Why can't I say that fucking word? An asterisk to him as well, and we'll talk about him in a bit. Feng, he's got a lot of annoying bullshit. He's more susceptible to sidewalk left than he is sidestep left, but still got a lot of shit that's weak to sidestep left. Not a whole lot that's weak to sidestep right, so go for the fucking sidestep lefts here for Feng. Same thing applies to Hwarang with some exceptions. Jack 8 has a lot of linear shit. Kazuya gets fucking destroyed by sidestep or sidewalk left. So if you have a problem with sidestep, or if you have a problem with Kazuya, then there you go. I just gave you the solution to all your fucking problems. Because Kazuya dies. If you time your sidesteps appropriately, Kazuya has nothing. So another reason why he's super weak, because in Tekken 8, sidesteps are bigger than they were in Tekken 7. And Kazuya's fucking weak to sidestep left, so there you go. Same thing applies to Lee, although he's got a better set of tracking moves to Lee's right or your left. So, you know, Lee can blow you up for sidestepping left, but he will most likely get killed himself for doing it. Leroy, same thing, sidestep left, but another asterisk because I want to go over shit. Lily, Raven, Reina, who's another Mishima, Steve, with some exceptions, Chaoyu, Yoshimitsu, Zafina. All of these characters, which is exactly 16, I believe, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 characters altogether, that you sidestep to your left, which means half the cast is susceptible to sidestep left. And then the other half, obviously, to sidestep right. So we go over these characters here. I will go over the ones that have asterisks next to the names in just a bit here, but for now, we got sidestep to your character's right. Asuka. Very little known about Asuka in that sense. A lot of people think it's sidestep left with her, but because from what I've seen online, everybody seems to like to sidestep her left, but that's not correct. Azucena. Also susceptible to sidestep right, but as we just saw earlier in the video, there's an exception to that. You probably already know what it is, and that's what the little fucking asterisk is for. So I'm gonna go over that in a bit as well. Same thing with Brian, susceptible to sidestep right, quote unquote. Dragunov is actually very linear. Dragunov, with some exceptions, is pretty much always susceptible to sidestep right. That's the problem he's had in all previous Tekken games. Except for now, because in Tekken 8, they made throws track to both sides, and Dragunov has a perfect throw game, so you pretty much can't sidestep Dragunov at all, because he has fucking amazing throws. And you're never going to be able to evade those with a sidestep. So sidestepping Dragunov can be risky, but if you're facing an aggressive Dragunov and your throw breaks are pretty good, then I'd say fucking sidestep him right all goddamn day, and you'll pretty much have nothing to worry about, barring a couple of moves that track really well, and of course, homing moves. Down forward 3+4, forward 4-3, that kind of shit with Dragunov, you're gonna get fucked up for it. So make sure you time your sidesteps appropriately. Jin, sidestep right. I know I said Mishimas, you always sidestep left, but Jin is not a classic Mishima. I know a lot of people want to lump him in the same category as Mishima characters, but he's just not classic Mishima. He's got Mishima traits. He has a wave dash, a hell sweep, and an electric of sorts. But he doesn't have a 1-1-2 knockdown jab or whiff punish. And he's got a lot of other weird shit that Mishimas don't have, like stances. Even though Reina has a stance, Jin's always had a stance. When back in the day when you had Heihachi, Kazuya, and Devil Jin as the main Mishima characters, Jin had stances and those other characters didn't. So stances don't really come with Mishima territory until you talk about Reina, and then things change a little bit. But anyway, sidestep Jin right. So he's the one exception to the Mishimas. He's not a Mishima, technically speaking. He has Mishima qualities, but he's not a Mishima. Jun. Jun is risky as fuck to sidestep right and sidewalk right, because I've noted, I mean, technically, yes, a lot of her moves you can sidestep and sidewalk, but her tracking is fucking nuts. And her projectiles, the safe projectiles on block at -9 that do a little bit of chip damage to her, not nearly fucking enough, you ask me, especially since she can heal herself. But fucking the projectile setups she has are virtually unsidesteppable if you're playing against a June that places them well. You can place shit well all goddamn day with other characters on this list, and you can still sidestep them. But with June, there's a lot of fucking tracking and a lot of really good recovery she has in her moves. So, sidestepping isn't always going to work. Very difficult character to step, but generally you do want to go to your right. And you will sidestep and evade a lot of moves in her repertoire, especially if you're playing in beginner levels, all the way up to like purple ranks, low blue ranks, even where I'm at with, currently I'm at Raijin with Kazuya. I got Raijin and then I got demoted to Fujin. But if you're at that level, blue ranks, Raijin, Fujin, Kishin, that level, then people are still going to be able to sidestep June right. But as soon as you get a little higher than that, she's going to be starting to utilize tracking moves a lot better, and June players get a lot more cheeky. So King, very susceptible to sidestep right. Don't know why a lot of people have so many problems with King. If you have good throw breaks, King sidestepping him to the right, not that fucking big a deal. He's always been weak to sidestep right, and he's always had a bunch of highs in his strings. So, besides his throws, he's pretty honest of a character. He's got crazy fucking strong-ass heat, though, which puts him above all the other characters, in my opinion, that I've, for the most part, with the exception of like 5 or 6 in the cast. But King's way up there because his heat is so strong. And he does have a lot of great throws. He's got a perfect throw game, so you can't break throws on King all day. But if you want to deal with his strings and his attacks that aren't throws more easily, then just sidestep him or sidewalk him right, and you're good to go. Same thing with Kuma and Panda. The bears are always sidesteppable to your right. Lars, very sidesteppable to your right with some exceptions. I will list those in a bit. Law, very easy to sidestep him right. Almost everything whiffs. Leo, less susceptible than you'd think because of the stances that, like, her buck stance realigns with you a lot of the time. But if you time the sidestep appropriately, you'll see them fucking buck into nothing, and then it's hilarious, and you can kick the shit out of the Leo player. It's great. So just, time the sidestep appropriately with the buck stance in mind. Nina, very, very susceptible to sidestep right. Super linear. Paul, same thing. We already talked about Panda. Shaheen, almost nothing Shaheen has tracks to his left. So sidestep, sidewalk this guy right all fucking day, man. And then make sure you just duck down back 2-1, and you'll kill every Shaheen player. He's very mid-tier. He doesn't have anything super fucking crazy from what I can tell. And I've played many, many Shaheens in decent levels of Tekken. So it seems like that's the case for him in Tekken 8. He doesn't have any crazy shit that tracks to his left. Victor, you sidestep right as well, very easily. So now we'll go over the exceptions, rule exceptions. Alyssa, you sidestep all of her chainsaw moves to your right. So sidestep her left until she throws out the chainsaw shit, and all the stuff that's not homing will be sidestepped or sidewalked to the right. Sidestep is probably better for chainsaws than sidewalk because sidestep is faster and her chainsaw moves are quite quick. So if you want to get a whiff punish in, then you want to sidestep immediately into a whiff punish of your choosing, and you'll almost always evade her chainsaw moves unless she does the homing shit or the stuff that tracks. And in that sense, you do have to lab the character and see which ones do track. So Devil Jin, you sidestep his forward 2, and his Laser Scraper Ender to your right. They made the Laser Scraper Ender slower in this game, so if somebody is stupid enough to finish the whole thing, you can sidestep that move pretty freaking easily to your right. Same with his Demon Paw, the forward 2 I said there. Sidestep that move to your right. Everything else with Devil Jin, sidestep to your left. Actually, his While Standing 2 also tracks a little bit to Devil Jin's left, so you need to step his sidestep, or his While Standing 2 launcher to your right. Besides that, everything else, sidestep to the left. Hell Sweep, Electric, you name it. Hwarang, sidestep and sidewalk him to the right when he's in right flamingo or right foot forward stance. Those two stances is when he's switched up. So normally he's susceptible to sidestep or sidewalk left. But if he switches his feet position, then you just switch your sidestep position. Very easy to remember that because, it's Hwarang. He's got either his left foot forward or his right foot forward. He's in left flamingo or he's in right flamingo. So make sure you fucking sidestep appropriately. Leroy, there was an asterisk there because I went through his move list several times the other day, and fairly linear to both sides, I find. It's pretty easy to sidestep Leroy no matter where you sidestep, so another reason why Leroy needs some buffs. Like, he's very linear. That's not good. Like, he's more linear than Kazuya. Like, what the fuck is that? Poor Leroy, man. I don't even like the character, and I still feel like he needs some buffs because that is some bullshit. Why are you going to make Leroy so linear all of a sudden when he had some tracking garbage shit all over the place in Tekken 7? Now you're going to basically kill the character. It's too bad, man. But hopefully then they buff him up a little bit because he's too linear for his own good at the moment. He's not really able to be used in a competitive sense. Steve. Sidestep is not recommended. He has great tracking in most of his moves. Don't even bother sidestepping Steve. He'll just fucking kill you. So just hold back and block. If he's doing some really obvious shit, yeah, you can beat him with sidesteps. You can beat any character with sidesteps. But generally, as a rule, if they're throwing shit in your face, you don't want to sidestep Steve, even if you think it's timed well, because he's still going to hit you with the next thing that comes out, because odds are it's really quick, and odds are it has great tracking, because that's just part of who Steve is. The way you beat Steve is you just don't press any fucking buttons, because he's got nothing to really threaten you with. So, as long as you don't press buttons against Steve, you're good. And if you try to sidestep Steve, you're not good. So, make sure you just keep that in mind. Azucena, sidestep left and duck her while running 3-2. I already talked about this a second ago. But besides that, you're going to sidestep her to the right. Brian, sidestep not recommended unless approaching, as he has great tracking in most of his moves. And by approaching, I mean you're approaching. So, Brian is a keep-out character. That's his specialty. He's a keep-out in the neutral, and then against the wall, he shifts to becoming a bulldog. He just rails your ass against that wall in the most sexual way possible until you're knocked the fuck out. That's Brian in a nutshell. But when you're approaching him in the neutral, sidestepping is a great option, especially to your right, because he's going to throw out those 3+4s and those back 1s, and down forward 2s. And Brian and the QCF 2-4, that shit. QCF 2 is a little bit more, has some tracking to it, but pretty much everything else I listed there doesn't track at all to Brian's left, which means you sidestep that to the right, and you're pretty good to go. If you just eat a back 1, you block the back 1, try a sidestep right into block. If he throws out a down forward 1, it will track to his left, which is why you don't really want to sidestep him too much, because he's got great fucking tracking to his left. Same kind of rule as Steve, except in Brian's sense, approaching Brian, sidestepping him, you can evade his keep-out attacks, which is invaluable. If you're Kazuya, and you approach a Brian, he throws out a 3+4, you anticipated he was going to do that, because that's what Brians are supposed to do, you sidestep that to the right, and you'll whiff punish that shit. It's a satisfying fucking feel, I'll tell you that right now. So Brian is, don't sidestepping unless you're approaching him, or if you've just blocked a back 1, try sidestepping right, block. Besides that, just block against Brian, because he's fucking dangerous if you're sidestepping. You sidestep left is while running 2. That's a crazy move to fucking know how to deal with. Sidestep left is while running 2. So important to know. It's a very linear move. So if you sidestep it to your left, well, sidestepping it right will get you killed, but sidestepping it to your left, it barely tracks at all. It doesn't even track at all. I don't think it tracks at all to his right. So while running 2, if you sidestep it left, you'll get an easy whip punish on Dragunov, which takes care of one of his absolute best moves. I would say his previously best move, now I think his best move is QCF 4. There's +7 on block, heat engager, mid, that hits grounded, that does a lot of chip damage, and it fucking launches if you're in heat. No, that's too good of a fucking move. I'm good. I don't think while running 2 is that good anymore compared to that, but, still being able to beat his best/second best move with one single sidestep, so important to know. So that will help you immensely against the most overpowered, broken bullshit character in this game. in my opinion. Although you could argue it's Xiaoyu, Dragunov, and June. Those three are fucking no. Lars, sidestep or sidewalk left all his non-homing options from silent entry. So silent entry with Lars, if you don't know what that is, there's dynamic entry where it just like goes, bleh, and then there's silent entry where it goes like, bleh, and he's fucking on the ground in like a ducking position, right? He looks like a little bitch. That's how you know he's going into silent entry. And every option he has from there with the fucking palm rush or the low-hitting slash hand thing that he does on the ground is really fucking annoying, or that stupid-ass spinning hop kick, all of those moves can be sidestepped or sidewalked to the left, and you'll evade all of them. Of course, he's got the homing kick from that stance, and he does have like a can of sorts, or what the fuck is that move called? Like I think it's silent entry 3+4. That move you have to sidewalk it or sidestep it to the right, but all the other options he has besides the homing options, all of them are beaten with sidestep or sidewalk left. So just as soon as he goes into silent entry, get the fuck out of there with sidestep and you're fine. You don't have to worry about not respecting his stance. Don't worry about interrupting him in case you think he's going to do an attack. Just observe what he's going to do. If you see him go into silent entry, sidestep or sidewalk that left, and then duck immediately or block immediately, depending on what you think he's going to do. So yeah, pretty easy to deal with Lars in that sense. Victor, fairly linear to both sides. I hear a lot of people complaining about Victor. I get it. He's annoying for the new players, but once you grasp the basic concept of Tekken, Victor shows his flaws and his weaknesses in spades. Like, his throws are fixed now. So the broken throws that were 14 frames to break are now fixed. They patched those throws, so they're just like every other throw in the game now. So there's no excuse for losing to Victor now. If you've lost to a Victor player, you need to learn the matchup properly. I'm sorry to say, learn the matchup. Well, it's true. If you keep getting fucking destroyed by Victors, then there's a reason for that. Learn the fucking matchup. Go into practice mode and go through the moves. You'll be very surprised at how many moves Victor has that are fucking linear. They don't track to either side. He's very, very steppable. Now, he does have a lot of moves that do track to either side. He's got homing moves as well. But the thing is with Victor is he's got 3 or 4 extra moves that don't track to his left compared to all the moves that he has that don't track to his right. So you want to sidestep him to the right just to deal with those 1 or 2 extra moves that he has that don't track to that side and do track to the other side. So, but in any case, he's fucking linear, so you can beat him with either one of the sidesteps most of the time. Left or right. So, stop the Victor hate. I don't hate Victor. I think he's an interesting character. I don't like really all the fucking bad-mouthing for any of these characters in this fucking game, to be honest. I love pretty much everybody in this game, with the exception of, if I had to pick a least favorite character, I'd probably go with Xiaoyu. Fuck that character. She's such stupid bullshit. But not because she's cheap, even though she is cheap and broken. But she's fucking. I just hate her voice. I hate how tiny she is. I hate her. The size of her hurt box is bullshit. And she's been like that since day one of Tekken. So I don't like you. I don't like Xiaoyu. But everybody else is cool in my books, right? So there's no reason to bitch about characters like Victor, who seems to get the most complaints in the community along with King. So I just don't really. I don't know. I don't see the hate for it. There's a lot of solutions to Victor's shit. Between blocking and sidestepping and then ducking his highs and his strings with a gunshot and stuff. There's so many easy, obvious answers to his stuff, there's no reason to bitch about it. So that'll be pretty much it for the sidestep video. I hope you guys learned something. I'm sorry it was a fairly complicated video, I'm sure, for a lot of newcomers, but if you keep it up with the practice and understand the flow and the rhythm of a sidestep and how exactly it works, you'll start implementing that into your gameplay, and within no time it'll be just muscle memory, and you'll be sidestepping shit left, right, and center, and not literally, because you can only sidestep them to the left and the right, but you know what I mean? You'll be sidestepping all over the fucking place and doing really well. Good luck. I hope this helped, and we'll see you on the next video. Not sure what that one's going to be about yet, because I only had up to sidestepping planned. Everything else from this video going forward will probably just be random Tekken content as far as I can think. I might do a couple more tutorial videos, but I've covered a lot already, and there's not a whole lot more as far as newcomer shit is concerned as to what's left to cover. So anyways, keep rocking out and keep gaming.